Harbor right after we were bombed. He always said when their subs came into port, he would never forget the devastation he saw. He said that if you gave him a free airplane ticket to go back to Hawaii, he would tell you to put it where the sun don't shine. When my mom passed and time went on, I said to my dad, it's okay if you want to have a companion. He said, I had filet mignon all my life, and I'm settling for Hamburg. Only one woman put a twinkle in his eyes afterwards, and that was my friend Ellie. Their friendship was special, and they became the best of buddies. For a period of time, my family rented an apartment on Marion Street in Marion. We moved into a neighborhood of 12 very troubled teenage boys. Right at the age where they could go one way or the other, these boys were already out of control. They were either from separated homes or parents that still stayed with each other and were constantly fighting. My dad took these boys under his wing, and no one can ever convince me that these boys were forever changed because of my dad. Mike, our landlord's son, remained in contact all these years with our family. He asked that if he could send an email, would I read it at Cecil's service? I said I most definitely would. This is what Mike has to say. My name is Mike Siknarski, and I live in Sandusky, Ohio. I was born and raised in Meriden, Connecticut. Cecil and his family rented from my family on Marion Street. I was a teenager when Cecil decided we should start an early morning paper route. We would get up at 4 a.m. Cecil designed a system so that my family or his would not be disturbed at that hour of the morning. Cecil set up a button he pressed from upstairs and a bell that would go off in my room right by my ear. He wasn't getting out of the paper route. On this paper route, Cecil let me drive his car. I can't even tell you what a thrill that was for a 15-year-old. I will never forget it as long as I live. He and Cecil were my second mother and father. Cecil taught me how to play softball and organized a team on which Cecil also played, which included all the boys on the street. He taught us all how to fix cars and play setback on Friday nights. He always kept our stomachs full. We never went hungry, that's for sure. Cecil went straight to heaven. He had a heart of gold. He was kind to everyone. Cindy and I grew up together and remain great friends to this day. Cindy, may God bless you daily. Finish your life in happiness and always keep in touch. Love you, Hans, Mike. One of my very best friends came to know my dad over the years, Harry Nelson. Harry loved my dad, and they did so much together. Harry always said that he was his second dad, and that my dad thought of Harry as his son. Harry also sent me over an email that he wants me to share with everyone here today, just to show how stubborn my father was. He entitled this, "The Breathless Chicken Coupon at Kentucky Fried Chicken." Every Sunday, Cecil would say, "I have a coupon for Kentucky Fried Chicken, which offers chicken breast for a great price." Cecil would give me the money in the coupon to get the bucket. When I presented the coupon at KFC, they said the coupon states that this is good at only participating stores. The only KFC at that time in Meriden was non-participating. So when I came back with a different bucket with no chicken breast, Cecil looked at me with disappointment on his face and a smile that said, "Harry, you messed up." They were always doing that with each other, always. This also happened on the following Sunday when Cecil handed me another coupon. He said, "Harry, I know you can get it right this time." I tried to explain to him about the coupon again, and that this KFC was a non-participating store. But Cecil would not accept that. So I came back with the same breastless chicken bucket. The third Sunday was a charmer. Finally, I got smart and said, Cecil, I'm driving you over to KFC with your coupon. Let's see if you can do better. So off I went. Cecil came out of KFC with a bucket of chicken. Not a word was spoken in the car. There was there was no conversation at the table that night. And no one spoke about the missing chicken breast. Finally, Cindy said, would the both of you shut up? And everyone broke out in laughter. He says, God bless you, my good friend. My second dad. Rest in peace, love, Harry. I tried to pick one memory to share with you today, and it was the hardest thing to do because there were so many, right, Debbie? When I asked you, pick something to say, some story or whatever, our whole lives were a good story of memories and chock full of them. I could keep you in this room forever just talking about my life with my father. And just too many memories. But one that always sticks in my mind is the trick that we pulled on my father, my mother, and I. He was a plater at International Silver. And in the summer months, the factory would get so hot, it would be well over 100 degrees. And when he came home, he would just be bone tired. But he'd have his beer first, and then he'd go to his lazy boy. And when he slept like a ton of bricks. So I said to my mother, I said, let's do Dad up like a girl while he's sleeping. Okay, let's do that. So I went in there, I started with a comb, I teased his hair with little knots, he slipped off through everything, still snoring. I got the gel and I did his hair all together like that. And I came out with a spray and I sprayed him. That was bad enough. Then I said, Ma, where's your makeup kit? So I went to her makeup kit and I put blue eyeshadow on his eye, blush on his cheeks. He's still snoring through this whole procedure. Lipstick on his lips. And I said, why stop here? Let's paint his fingernails. Let's do that. So my mother's in the kitchen making dinner. I said, come on, take a look. What do you think? Well, she split a gut because the sight was absolutely hysterical. So we woke him up for dinner, went to the bathroom, and we know he saw himself in the mirror because the sink's there and there's the mirror. So we knew he saw himself in there. Came out, none of us could look at him because we were ready to bust a gut laughing. And he sat down at the table, and my mother and I couldn't take it anymore. We just went into hysterics. I mean, you guys all know how I laugh. My mother is the same way. And, oh, my God. And he just sat there as calm as anything, like, what is wrong with you, too? And then he got what we all call in the family the shit-eating grin. And we knew that he was on to us. But that was the kind of guy he was. He could give it and he could take it. And we were always doing something to him, some kind of prank or another. And I want to say, last but certainly not least, is our Iris, who lives downstairs in our house. Iris, I could have never done this on my own without your constant help and emotional support. You are my dearest friend. But more than that, you are my family. My mom and dad love you and your family so much. Thank you for being a part of our lives. To say thank you is minuscule. There are no words to express our gratitude. I will carry you in my heart always. Anybody has anything that they want to say, a story or anything? Would you like to come forward? Okay, Ellie?
Good morning. We're all here for the same reason, to pay our respects to this extraordinary man. It doesn't matter if you called him Dad, if you called him Mr. Stocking, if you called him Cecil, or if you called him Uncle. He was just unbelievable. He faced life like head on. That's exactly how he faced all of diversity in his life. I was lucky enough for him to come into my life, and I had some real good times with him. I used to take him to the doctors, and after we would go for breakfast at Cup and Saucer, and he was a newspaper person, I was a newspaper person. We used to reiterate everything that we read in the newspaper that day and maybe the day before. Or there were other times when he was in the hospital. It's a long day in the hospital. I wasn't working at the time. I used to go sit there and just keep him company, read a book while he watched Jerry Springer. I cannot believe it. He would watch this show. Oh, it's so good. And you couldn't talk to him. It was over. He had to relive that whole show with him. And it was like, you know, it was almost like ridiculous. And then sometimes I pick him up after dialysis. Now, here he is, 90 years old. And I take him home, and he'd say, I said, wait a minute, don't get out of the car yet. And he would say to me, oh, no, that's all right, I can make up the stairs. Now, those stairs are quite steep. I said, no, you can't. Wait a minute. Well, he beat me up the stairs. And when we got to the top, I was puffing and puffing. It was winded. And he was just a lot of fun to be with. And I was lucky enough to see him about 30 hours before he passed. And we had a great visit. And the last thing I said to him, I kissed him on the forehead, and I said, Pop, I said, I love you. When he said, I love you too, Ellie. So we're all here to say goodbye to him, and now he's going to have eternal life with the love of his life. And Barbara will be there watching him, so he needs to get his behave himself. Thank you.
Thanks, Ellie.
Debbie, did you have your hand up, honey?
Great. Okay.
I'm crying.
Where do I begin to tell you what a great man Uncle Cecil was? I can remember back as a real small child, Auntie and Uncle Cecil were always around, either our house or theirs. I remember Uncle Cecil came over to visit. I was about 7 at the time. He gave me my first and only chemistry set. I was so excited. I don't think my mom was, though. I did get to use it once, but the whole house smelled like rotten eggs. And I know my chemistry set disappeared. I guess my mom thought I would blow the house up. I remember going to Bailey's Beach on Saturdays for ham and acid. Everybody would be there. I also remember a time when we all went to Ocean Beach Park, Cindy too. That was the day Cindy tried to drown me. I don't remember. I don't know. I guess I was being a pain. If it weren't for Uncle Cecil to see what was happening, I would not be here right now. So Uncle Cecil saved my life. Thank you. We used to go every Friday night to Aunt Bee and Uncle Cecil's house. My brother and I would get so excited. Our parents would play cards, and we got to eat all the ice cream and snacks we wanted. Uncle Cecil used to do the grocery shopping, so he made sure we had snacks. I used to sleep over a lot, and it was great. One time, Uncle Cecil tried to teach me how to play cards. I had a lot of energy back then. Playing didn't last long. I remember when I would sleep over Sundays, Aunt Bee would always cook a big meal. It was always a great meal, good cook. Then they would bring me home. I did ask them all the time if I could live with them. They were great people, and they were always there for me. Before my son was born, they bought me a high chair, changing table, walker, and stroller. You have no idea what that meant to me. We kept in touch through the years. I could keep going on and on, but before I end this, I just want to say, Pete and I were so happy Uncle Cecil made the trip up to Vermont in November with Cindy, Eva, and Joni. And we had a good time. And Pete and Eva got to watch Hee-Haw tape. Next morning, Eva surprised Uncle Cecil in the bathroom. She walked in on him when he was sitting there doing his business. You'll be missed. We love you. Love, Devin. Thank you so much, Devin.
That was beautiful.
Give money. Love you. Love you. I'm sorry if I'm surrounding you. I never learned how to swim. Iris, come on.
Oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. I'm very nervous. He was special. He was my dad. He teach me about courage. He always told me, this is good. Don't let no man listen to you. Don't let nobody abuse you. I'm like, yes, sir. You don't need nobody. You got me. You got me. The day I was going to get married, he was like, what are you getting married for? You don't need to get married. I'm like, I need a man, okay? He's like, oh, okay. But he didn't want us to go nowhere. He wanted us to be around him. Me and Cindy was his little girl. He will buy us candies, and he will call me and say, I said, if you need anything, call me. I'm downstairs. Oh, yeah. And he will call me. I will be shy. And he's like, you need anything? Oh, you go get me some beer. Okay. Give you $1. I'm like, okay, fine. Let me get dressed. He will always, and I will call. Cindy will call. He will fight with us. No! I don't want your food. I'm already going to make a pork chop or potatoes. It doesn't matter what we cook. He will always have his dinner, no matter what. He was awesome. I miss him, and I love him. And he said, always told me, I love you. I said, I love you. He said, I love you too. We had to sneak out of the house, just me and Cindy hiding. So we will go and have a beer or drink.
You gotta sneak out.
We had to sneak out because he would watch us the next day. Oh, yeah, I saw you. I saw you. I'm like, we need a little break. So I will say, I'm going to New York to see my mom. Where are you going? No. He would never want us to go nowhere. I said, yeah, but that's my mom. Okay. But he will always, he wanted us around him all the time. And every time he used to get sick, I would tell him, you ain't going nowhere. He was like, but I got to go someday. What do you want me to do? I said, I know, Bob, but don't leave me. I love you. He said, I love you too, but one of these days I got to go. So I guess this was the time for him to leave us. He said, I got to go. And I love him like a dad. And I really appreciate everything, his love, his care, and I miss him so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, he was a man that was very much loved. Very much a good man. Good man. Well, it was endless good memories for me with my dad. But the way I choose to remember my father is the picture that's over there with him having a good time, taking his cup of beer, and saying hi to everybody. That's the way I choose to remember my father. He enjoyed life to the fullest, loving those around him, and he loved his deer too. Honey, would you come up here and finish?
Cindy, ask you to lead us in the Lord's Prayer. This is our Father.
Right.
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. On earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Just a little thing that Cecil always liked, and would like to hear. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Cindy would like you to join her today at the Middletown Elks, who's just up the street in celebration of Christmas. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.